All right. Day 3 of CMA Fest. We're still sitting here having fun. Guests are coming in and going on to others. This is the big presser room. It's a lot of fun up here. And the funnest part is when you're trying to do an interview and you have other artists come by and they're waving at you and all this other stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You still hungover?
No, I mean, maybe.
Did you see that question coming? No.
Like, no. I'm like, well, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we didn't go like crazy last night. We had the last set on the downtown stage, Hard Rock.
Yeah.
So it was just a later day.
Mm.
So it was good. We had a good time though.
Sweet. At least you had fun.
Yeah, we always do.
It's kind of like the calm before the storm, though.
What do you mean?
You have the fun, and then the next day it's
Yeah, you gotta pay for it. Yeah, you just push it forward, man. Keep pushing it back.
Oh Lord. So everybody, we're talking to John Hollier. We're kind of laid back today.
I like it.
We're not really doing a whole lot of so how'd you get your start and,
Yeah.
and you know, all the good stuff that everybody asks.
I'm cool with that.
You're cool with that?
I'm cool with that, man.
All right. Oh Lord. I'm still fascinated by the story. Here's a side story for everybody. John actually knows my producer, Caitlin, and she ran sound for him one time, and it's funny as shit. So apparently there was a floor breakage and all kinds of stuff, and it was just hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that was at the old Whiskey Jam, which is now downtown. But
Yeah.
it was the only time I've played the old Winners, and it's an old building with the second floor.
Right.
And we were just playing. We were very loud and jumping up, and people in the crowd started jumping, and then the floor started bowing.
It was literally a wave. Like, I thought it was going to collapse.
That is crazy.
The first and
so
only
glad.
time that has happened.
I wish, it's one of those things. I'll take it. I'll take that as a W.
What song was it, though?
It was Devils in the Details. It's
Devils in the Details.
It's a song off the album we put out last year, and it's just a kind of 160, 170 beat per minute song, and just it's got that 4 on the floor kick drum, and
Yeah.
when you want to, if you've got good ACLs, MCLs, it's a good jumping song, Yeah, we got them jumping. Almost broke that building.
Well, now it doesn't exist anymore, so
Oh, did they tear it down?
they tore it down.
Did you technically
Oh.
tear down the building?
We might have started
it
the
might have
demo.
been him.
We
Might have been
started
his
the
fault.
demo process.
So if anybody needs any demo work done, just call John and he'll show up.
Come play a set.
Yeah, well, they'll come play a set and hang out.
Get the job done.
Damn. Oh, Lord. Songs from Memphis. Did y'all actually go to Memphis and do all this?
Yes. We, which is the big irony of the whole situation, because we live in Nashville now, so
Yeah.
it's hilarious that our manager's from Denver, and,
Yeah.
and another one's in New York City, and so they don't. I think it was a smart move in hindsight, but they weren't as. We did some pre-production, started doing some stuff in Nashville, and they're like, nah, this is not it. So 30 Tigers and management got together and said, let's send them to Memphis. So we went to this Southern Grooves, which is it's a new studio, but it's all made to spec, an
Yeah.
all rock and roll analog studio. So Matt
See,
Ross
that's what I
thing is-
loved, because when I seen that, I was like, damn yeah.
Well, yeah, it's hard. It's a risky move because it's not polished. In the way my vocal mic, we open the vocal room, so the drum overheads and my vocal mic were treated as room mics.
Right.
And so we didn't use a click, so it's like you're very, very little room to go punch things, and so it's all analog. But it's the way I think, I'm going to hang my hat on that, because we got a really cool band. We were very rehearsed. We got a good thing going, so it's like, why not use that sound for the record?
Well, I mean, that's the sound that made a lot of people great back in the day.
100%, I agree. But at the end of the day, I do understand why people like to not do that,
Yeah.
especially, you know, with playlisting and TikTok and stuff. You do want a pretty pure, polished sound. But we're a wild group of animals. We destroy, you know, we
destroyer of buildings.
Yeah, if you're going to destroy a building, it's like, you know, let's do it live, you know.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love that part because that's how I used to record.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I mean, you just throwed everybody in the room. The vocalist would kind of do like a little raw vocal track, and they would go in a vocal booth later and cut it.
And we still did some of that. Like some of the songs were absolutely like, hey, I'm gonna need 12 takes to really find the mojo and the style in there. But the rock and roll one we put out on Wednesday, that is a raw live, you know, really fun. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it.
Awesome. I liked it too.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
You could hear it, man. I mean, you could just hear the difference. Don't get me wrong. Caitlin does try to school me on the digital newer stuff. The production stuff and everything. But I'm still just an old school analog guy.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay. As long as Julie's positive, we're good. 1 million streams. You got 1 million streams
across the platforms. I wish I had 1 million streams on that song on Spotify, but
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is it just across all platforms, or just one?
Yeah, it was one of those that kind of like, you know, the song got put on. The irony is, I'm talking about recording songs in Memphis in a cool studio. The song that actually got playlisted heavily, we recorded in our bedroom with no budget, like 2 mics on the drums. You know, we just literally did nothing to it, and we put it out just for fun, and that's the one that got heavily playlisted.
That's wild, isn't it?
It is wild. It drives me crazy because it is that thing where, like, you know, you put so much attention and time and style into certain things, and you're like, are the listeners going to notice? You know, at the end of the day, I'm not sure. But yeah, we record something in the bedroom, and that's the like what.
It's weird because we got to talking about the whole algorithm thing, and everybody's trying to hit that algorithm.
Man,
the mystic beast that it is, you know, and it really, I don't think anybody actually has a formula. But
I agree.
The people that sometimes don't give a shit and just do something for kicks is the one that hits 1 million streams over the night, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, they're a millionaire overnight. How about that shit, you know?
Yeah, I can't put a finger on it, man. I mean, in a way, it makes it all fair, I think, for artists, because you don't have to be going through gatekeepers anymore,
right?
But also, if you have gone through all the gatekeepers, you kind of scrambling too, you know?
Yeah. Well, what if you go through the gatekeepers and it's a dead end at the end?
Yeah. I think it's a mix. So the algorithm's wild.
It's crazy.
I don't have any kind of idea what we're walking into these days, but we just put a song out. We're going to put some more out. Just try and see what sticks.
What I liked, because you're mixing it up. You're doing some stuff that a lot of people aren't doing.
In what way?
You added a saxophone.
Yeah. Well, I can't take full credit for that. The record I did we released last year, Eric Massey had the idea of using a saxophone, and it's like I was like, okay, that's a little on the nose for like Louisiana rock. It's like, let's listen to it. I heard it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then we started playing in New Orleans, opening for those bands, and we were getting just hosed by them having a brass section. And so Teddy Thibodeau Jones, I met him in Nashville, and we started just trying things out, playing stuff off the old record, seeing if we liked it, and then it became a staple for us.
Yeah,
I would say Teddy hasn't missed a show since May.
Well, I mean, the sax on the song Badlands.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had so much
fun. Dude,
that
was so fucking on point with that.
Thank you. I mean, and that was the purpose. We got our first like official tour when we started working with WME, and that was in September of last year. Mm-hmm. And it was like we just put a record out, but we didn't have anything. We didn't want to use any of the new stuff yet. So it's like, let's put a cover out, and it's like, well, let's do a Springsteen song, you know?
Yeah.
And everyone likes to do Springsteen, but I feel like Badlands is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard any covers of it, so it's like we didn't derivative too much. We just right down the middle. Fast
well,
ball.
I mean, usually when people cover Springsteen's, it's the usual songs.
Yeah.
100%.
And those aren't my favorite songs by
No,
Springsteen.
they're
I
not.
love, I'm from that camp of the American songbook as a songwriter, like Springsteen and Petty and Don Henley. Those are my heroes as songwriters. So yeah, it felt natural to put a Springsteen cover out. And I'm sure some people eye roll because we have the saxophone. We kind of do that same style, but we didn't really give a hoot. We just
Dude, it fucking rocked, man.
Thank you for listening.
It did. I loved it. It was crazy as I'll get out. So I was sitting there reading some stuff on you, and what caught my eye was your uncle played in a Cajun, I can't even say that word, Zydeco band?
Zydeco. Yeah, so my last name is Hollier. It's just a Cajun last name. We felt,
See, I didn't even want to try to pronounce it because
I don't blame you.
there's too many daggum different areas I could go there.
When I moved to Tennessee, it was very real that it's like, okay, I'm going to have to pick and choose how many people I want to explain how to say my last name.
Yeah.
Because in Louisiana, that's a very common last name.
Oh, yeah.
South Louisiana. Out here, if I'm on the phone with NES or Comcast, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I'm going to go right down the middle to Hollier. But for an artistry, it felt important. My dad's first language was Cajun French.
Yeah.
My uncle kind of showed me and my brothers the ropes on how to play music, and my first time plugging in with a band was a Cajun band.
Yeah.
So there was a natural, if I'm going to stick to my roots and guns, we talked about maybe changing the last name in the spirit of once we started signing contracts in Nashville. And it's like, you know what, I'm going to punt, and I'm okay if people mispronounce that. That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
But it is important to me to stay true to my roots and my family, so that's...
Right.
So, yeah, my uncle did play... My uncle's probably one of the best guitar players I've ever, still to this day. But, yeah, those Cajun guys are fantastic.
Dude, Cajun music is I call it raw and just played from the heart.
Well, it reminds me, I spent some time playing in Virginia with some bluegrass artists when I first moved to Nashville, and that was an experience that I was getting schooled by those bluegrass players.
Yeah.
And it reminded me a lot of playing with the Cajun musicians.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very similar style of music, but there's a lot more cultural influence. But the cadences and the approach are very similar, and it's very much like a virtuistic attack on music. So I would say Nashville's a safe place. When we go play in Louisiana, New Orleans and Lafayette, it is wild how much raw, pure talent is out there, and it's downright exposing if you're not ready. And I feel like that's what made us ready to go as a band, is spending time in Louisiana. Because out here, you get comfortable and you get in your comfort zones, and then you go to places where they don't really care about who wrote the song, how you wrote it. They want to hear what you got as a band.
Well, I told somebody else the other day, I wasn't even on there or anything else. We was just a buddy of mine talking, and he is a diehard Eddie Van Halen.
Come on.
Yeah. And look, I give Eddie Van Halen his props. I really do. He brought about a whole new style and everything else to rock music.
Yeah.
But take him over to Appalachia or take him down Louisiana, and I guarantee you, one of them old guys down there can outpick the hell out of that guitar.
Well, I think he would thrive in this hypothetical situation if he went to Appalachia, or down in Lafayette. I think he would thrive. I think he's that good.
Eddie would.
But playing in Virginia, these places in Virginia, your children on the mandolin will play, and you're like, it's kind of embarrassing. When it's my turn to take a lead, it's just like,
Nah, he's got it. He's got it.
But we would play with some of my uncle's friends would get together, and I have some fond memories of us all playing together. And these guys would just sit in a chair and just on the accordion and guitar, and they're all great singers, but I couldn't keep up. I think some of it, they were hazing me because it came to Nashville. Yeah. The Nashville guy, there was a little bit of...
Oh, he's a big star now.
And they it was downright humbling because I was thinking, okay, I've spent so many hours and time in Nashville. Let me go back and just play with these guys. And I just couldn't hang. It was just they have their own language, and and approach and style was cool. It was really fun to see. But I told my guys, I'm like, yeah, this is a true musical area, cultural area. You
Yeah.
know? And it's just, you're looking at people who've been playing since they were in diapers, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. Because back then, I mean, you ain't really got a whole lot to do sometimes, so you just grab a guitar.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd love it. I can't play though. I've never been able to play guitar.
Really?
Yeah, I can't get the finger stuff.
The dexterity.
Yeah,
I mean, it's painful to like start, you know, when you start playing guitar outside of chords, like it is, you know, there is some dexterity, but
Papa Joe tried to teach me how to play guitar.
Yeah.
And I think we got through about 4 chords.
yeah.
And I just,
You're like, I'm done.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But he was teaching me gospel
Okay.
on the guitar.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, but he was the main guitar player for the church. So he set up
I bet he could play.
Dude, he could play his
I
ass
bet.
off.
I bet.
It was wild to watch him. And, of course, we had back in the day, you know, we'd go hang out. We'd go out to Old Hickory Lake. One of my buddies had a guitar
Yeah.
that he'd been learning to play, and we just sat around and sing songs and drink and just have a good old time.
Just kick it.
I like that rawness.
Yeah. There's something communal about it. It feels very spiritual too, at a certain degree, you know, which is why I love live music.
Yeah.
We don't run backing tracks. We don't do anything like that. We live and die by exactly what we're going to bring to the table, and sometimes it shows, you know, and sometimes it's really powerful.
Yeah. Well, I prefer the live.
Same.
I just, because you ain't got all that mix and stuff, and you're, you know, you got a whole rack system that you're running everybody through and all that other stuff. You ain't got all that crap.
we don't, but I certainly can see why, because I mean we've played shows at some bands with big productions.
Yeah.
And it is something to see. It's really powerful. It's not as much of a performance as I would like.
Yeah.
But I also get it, you know. And the big arenas, you know, I've never played an arena, but the big arena of music, I get why you'd want all that production.
Where did you play?
Hard Rock stage.
Hard Rock today. That's right. I totally forgot about that. You told me that earlier.
Oh yeah, you fine, dude. Yeah. We played.
I'm getting old. I got brain farts, man.
It's also early, man.
It is crazy. Bum. You started in church too, didn't you?
I did. That was pretty much the place to play in Central Louisiana. It wasn't like mega church stuff. It was more of, I grew up Catholic, so it was like Catholic's approach to like modern music.
When did you come into that whole style of you got like a rock with it's got like a twist in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe it.
I was trying to figure that out last night. What was the best way to describe it? And I was just like, well, I mean, I could break it down with a little bit of rock, country, some flavor of soul in there.
We call it like Gulf Coast Springsteen is like what someone said to us. And I mean, with the bands we've been out, like the Texas and Gulf Coast bands that we've been out with, it is all pulling from that same like very throwback retro rock and roll blues,
right?
But with a big songwriting influence, so we can pull. But there is indie rock too. I mean, a lot of the guys like the saxophone and lead guitar aren't exactly playing down the middle country by any means. It's kind of a big mix, you know. It's definitely rock. If you had to just throw a pitch down the middle, it's rock. But there's a lot of vintage, you know, and we on purpose try and keep it raw and pure.
I love that part. That's awesome as all get out. John, tell everybody where they can find you on the .com and Twitter and all that crap.
So John Hollier music. If Hollier is, it's Hollier if you don't live in Louisiana. There's only one of me though. So just if you look it up, John Hollier music. We've got a website. We've got social medias. We got music streaming. We just released Feed the Flame on Wednesday, so you guys can check that out. And Yeah, we're all over it.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing more from you, man.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate this. It's been fun. Yeah. All right, y'all. Catch me more later. Toodles.
All right.